the holy grail of vintage playsets. See what I did there, holy grail? Now, see me unbox, assemble, and get it on the toy shelf. Only on PopCon. Hey everybody, welcome back to PopCon, and thank you for joining me for another show here in the toy room. I'm your G1 host, Victor, and how much more Generation 1 can you get than the Well of Souls playset? So if Castle Grayskull here is the mother of all playsets, then this is the granddaddy, and I finally have it. I've been looking to have this for a very, very long time, and here in its original, if not beat to hell box, we are going to unbox it, we are going to assemble it, and we're going to put it on its place of honor on the toy shelf. You ready? Let's get it on! Well, this is one of my top birthday presents. It was a few $100s and found at a huge local comic and toy collectible shop. From the looks of it and from the store owner, it was complete and even had some aged tape holding the sides you see here. If you look, you can see that both the tape and the box are discolored, so you can see just how old it is. Well, this is pretty exciting. It was made by Kenner in 1981 between The Empire Strikes Back and The Return of the Jedi toy lines for the biggest blockbuster of that year, Raiders of the Lost Ark. The Adventures of Indiana Jones was the toy line and only had 2 waves, and this relic was released in both. The hole here was a little suspect, and although we had our ideas, was it toy points to get something if you mailed it in, or was it proof of purchase, etc.? We just didn't know. But don't forget about it, it'll come up later again. Now the sides are duplicated, but this row of pictures is classic and deserves attention. Toys just don't have this kind of on-package marketing anymore, and it is a tragedy. Back to the front, the typical assembly required is listed, and of course we'll be getting to that in just a moment. And finally, you see that it says action figures not included. Well, that sucks because it looks great with Marion and Indy. Well, we'll see what we can do about that in just a minute. This is a phenomenal playset that I'm so very excited to open and have you guys see what's inside. We have just discovered a lot of the box, and I'm kind of prolonging this because for some strange reason I actually feel bad opening it.
That belongs in a museum!
My museum. So I will keep this box for sure just in case. It definitely has a lot of value in it being an original from the period. So we've seen a lot of the box. Let's just get this thing open. All right, you can pull down the flap here, and we can see inside it's on different layers, and we see the pieces of the Egyptian arch. Kind of loose in the box. They come separately, so you can assemble those archway. I'm just going to pour it out. So you can see the pieces there. They also have the poles that will go with the arch as well. There's different, these different levels hold different parts of the base itself. Now, right on top are the instructions. Don't you just love these old school illustrations? And it looks like pictographs or hieroglyphics of the very simple instructions. Don't you love the collateral that came in old playsets? I certainly do. So the box is empty, and here I am about to take out the pieces, but let's start with the top. This is the breakaway wall, and it's really got some weight to it. Very nice for the escape from the tomb itself. And here in the bit, it only comes out one way, so pull it out to one side. You can see very beautifully molded, lots of detail on there. Now all one color, I will admit, not a lot of depth to that. Now the final piece better have everything else. There it is, the stone sarcophagus that goes over the ark. Now inside is where they seem to have stored all the other pieces. So I'm looking for torches, snakes, and the ark itself. So yes, the ark comes in 2 different parts, the bottom, and actually 3 because the top and those angel pieces are separate as well. Now I have it upside down. I'll get that fixed later. So now there's nothing left here, so we need to make some room. And yeah, this plastic bag, hoping has everything else, but it looks like very few things, but overall it's still this great place. The mummy that should be behind the breakaway wall, you know, the ones that attack Marion, and here they are. It says there should be 12 snakes, but I do not see a grappling hook. So I'm going through and looking at these snakes that are all, there's 2 torches as well, so that's exactly what comes with the playset. And yeah, they have all 12 snakes, different shapes and sizes, 2 different colors. But there is no grappling hook, so I'm a little worried here. This was meant to, of course, be complete. I'm looking at the instructions, and yet, I don't know, something's gone wrong, and so we're going to have to take a look closer. Maybe it's somehow dropped out, but I do not see this grappling hook anywhere. So that's going to be a little frustrating because I wanted this full and complete, and that is the way we intended and way we thought it was going to be. So let me go ahead and put this together, and we'll get to that much later. Time for some story time unboxing. This is one of my crown jewels in my adult collection. As I represent my favorite franchises made famous in the 80s, this playset fits the bill for my overall love and respect for Indiana Jones. Raiders of the Lost Ark was released in July 1981 and was in theaters for like almost a year, never heard of now, and fits perfectly between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi toy releases, also made by Kenner. And they only came out with 4
figures. The Cairo Swordsman, Tote, Marion, and Indy. Now expanded the following year in 1983 with more characters, another 4, and an additional playset. So this playset was released in 82 and 83, but the map room was 82, which was awesome because it came with an additional Indiana Jones. And finally, there was the Cairo street scene. There was a horse and a truck as well. There was even a mail-away figure of Belloc in his ceremonial robes, but you could also get Belloc on card just in his normal outfit. Putting this together is easy and the instructions are simple. And to keep you updated, I have not found the grappling hook. It is missing in action, and I'm starting to think that the little hole cut in the side of the box was exactly for one reason only: grave robbing. I have been robbed of completing the set with one simple piece. That hole was the way in. Not being able to do that is unfair and very frustrating. Oh, but what's this? Kenner cares? This little section here even has a line for you to list what parts would be missing. You can mail that in. Hey, think anyone would answer? What do you think my chances are? Should I do it? Should I mail it in? Maybe they have an extra grappling hook just hanging around. I mean, I know Kenner doesn't exist anymore, but who knows? Maybe. Whoa, don't go anywhere. We're about to compare the playset with the movie set and reveal all of its secrets too, so that's moments away. Now, the line ended in 1983 as Kenner was ramping up for Return of the Jedi, but these were great figures, very much like Star Wars, except they had knee joints, which was very cool. Well, here it is, basically all complete, except for a grappling hook, and there are a couple places to put your torches, and I've got all 12 of the snakes, so it just needs some finishing touches. Alright, now that it's complete, let's compare it to the real set, I mean the movie set, and see how well they did. And finally, there's some great secrets to this playset that we're going to explore in detail really quick. Using the cover from the playset in its entirety, we can compare it to the actual movie set or movie location or movie filming, where we see Indy rappelling out of the main hole. He's got a brick wall behind him, so that looks good, as well as the Egyptian arch in front of him. So that right now looks good. Another angle shows the ark being lifted, but this is when Saul and him were in there. You see a walkway to the steps, which looks very similar in the playset, even if it isn't to scale. We see that the movie and the toy ark are very similar, which is great, but it isn't coming out of a hole in the ground. It's coming out between two stone pieces filled with hieroglyphics. So that's a bit different, and we see it again here when we see Marion and Indy showing them in the back. They're in that central location under the hole in the top, but you can look behind them for the steps towards the ark. But once again, you see the walls of the stone sides where the ark was, not a rock covering it like the toy. Playsets can't be identical, but when you are comparing, I think the biggest comparison in this playset is where did they escape. In the movie, an Anubis statue is pushed down through a wall, which the playset gives you a breakaway wall, but it looks like the wall that's right behind the main entrance, when in the movie, via this picture of a model, shows that the Anubis statue actually hits a stone wall to the side of the ark's resting spot. So a little different, but they do show it off in the playset as a skew, so you do kind of can tell that they're trying to mimic the same thing, which is wonderful. And we all know that there's a mummy behind it, just like there was in the film. Okay, now we promised some secrets, so let's get ready to look up close and personal at what this playset has to offer. Alright, let's start at the base, at the bottom where we're covered in snakes. Not just the little plastic ones that come with, but all the molded snakes and the sand and the stone. But there's also some pegs. I'm sure they're familiar to anyone who had Star Wars. Indiana Jones also had peg for the action figures to stand on. There are 3 in the set to help it along. Now look at the feet of the arch. I love the little feet that hold the Egyptian archway, but look around here. What do you see? It's C-3PO and R2-D2 right there, just like they were as an Easter egg in the film as you see it here. And they are also in the film on the arch itself. See that little detail on the inset? Awesome. I love those little Easter eggs that George and Steven Spielberg put together here. Now we're coming back down at this gorgeous detail of the arches, but there it is. The Ark of the Covenant. Looks just like it in the movie. Great reproduction in plastic. And did you know that this whole scene was redone in an extinct attraction at Walt Disney World called the Great Movie Ride? It's gone now, but they even included the R2-D2 and a Mickey and Minnie, or Mickey and Donald, I should say, hieroglyphic on the wall. There are 2 torches that come with the set and 3 holes to stick them in, or you can just put them in the action figure line. But my favorite is this snake right here. Oh yeah, just like in the film, the snake's coming out of the the hole in the wall. Is it here? Ooh, coming out of this mummy's mouth, just like the one that frightened Marion in the film as they escaped, with the other Egyptian mummies that fell on her too. So right behind the breakaway wall, you see a lot of other moldings, not just snakes, but more skulls and that full disgusting mummy. I actually turned the archways around here for this view so that we could not see the back side of it, but you can see a little bit closer on the hieroglyphic stone covering of the ark. And now you can see the actual poles that I used. Now, all that was missing was action figures, and for a moment I said, why not use the Mystery Incorporated gang? They can be stand-ins for the Well of the Souls, right? Wrong. Totally not right. It is totally sacrilege, so I removed Daphne, Fred, and Scooby. But you know what I got, though? I have got my own Harrison Ford. He may not be Indiana Jones, but he is from my Jabba the Hutt playset. And right now he's going to substitute for Sala, Marion, and Indy just for something on my shelf. You know what this toy line needed? A complete playset of the ball rolling scene at the beginning of the film. And of course, what kid wouldn't want to play with an entire playset on that rocky island outpost where all the Nazis get theirs by the power of the Ark? Yeah, I'd be playing with all my German soldiers getting zapped by the power of God and their faces melting as the fire wraps around Mary and Indy and around the pole. It'd be an awesome playset, all while waiting for Belloc's face to just explode. So what do you think? What do you think about my ideas? This playset, all these secrets, I know I'm thrilled to have this in my collection. Well, there she is. There still needs to be some zhuzhing to do down there, and of course I need an action figure. But every time I look at it, I'm going to be transported back in time. I'm going to be use my imagination and transport me to that scene in the film, whether it was Indy or Sala or Indy and Marion in that tomb, trying desperately to get out. But it looks fantastic, and I'm so excited to have it. Do you like it? Quite honestly, do you guys have one of these, or what is your favorite playset of the era? It is a lost art, to be sure. I'm a huge fan of playsets, so I'm really glad to have this. Thanks for coming along on the journey with me as well. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this and the playset itself, what I need to do. Hope I can get that Anubis statue, Thomas. Wink, wink. All right, folks, thank you again for joining me. Remember, he with the best toys wins. Until next time.